Hi, this is Alexi Karve. Today I will be demonstrating Microshift on a CentOS 8 installation on Raspberry Pi 4. So I have here a Raspberry Pi 4 that I installed with the micro SD XC card. So I followed these instructions that I've written over here. I downloaded the CentOS userland stream, installed that particular image, and then enabled the Wi-Fi. There were a couple of changes that I had to make. One is to set the host name to a host name with a domain, and then enable the C group for both memory and CPU set. And then once that was done, you will basically have to reboot the machine, and you should see that you have the CFS quota. And once you see the CPU.cfs quota, it means that Microshift will work. So once that was done, I installed Microshift, and the documentation is over here, how to install the SELinux policy. I installed the 1.22 version. We could have installed 1.21, but I just installed the latest version that worked. Installed the DNF, used DNF to install the Cryo tools and Microshift. And once these were installed, I can go ahead and start Microshift. So right now I have already started Cryo. So I am at this particular state, and I'm going to show you now what happens on this particular Raspberry Pi. I'm going to go ahead and start Microshift now. I've already downloaded all the binaries. So this is the CentOS machine. Okay, so CentOS Stream Release 8, and that is Cryo. You see that it is active and running. What I will do now is I will start Microshift. And while Microshift is starting, I can do get the logs for it. So it has started Microshift now. It will take a few minutes to actually create all the resources that it needs and download the images and containers. I can do a watch command now. Look at the nodes and the pods. And as it downloads the images, as Cryo downloads the images, you'll be able to see the images. It will then go ahead and create the pods. It will do all of that after the node is created. So it is going to do everything from scratch. Okay, the Cryo was basically empty. Nothing was installed on this, and it is going and installing everything right from scratch. So it will take about 2 minutes before everything gets started. So the first thing that you should see is that the node will get created over here. And once the node is created, then it will download the images and create the pods. While it is doing that, what I can do is I'm going to demonstrate an application that will basically take my pictures, and if it finds a person in that particular picture, then it will go ahead and send that picture to IBM Cloud. On the IBM Cloud side, I currently have Node-RED installed, and on that Node-RED, I have a chat application, and also I have a application that will allow me to upload images. Okay, so you see over here, CentOS is now, this is the node that I have, .example.com, that is ready, and it has already started creating the containers. There's only flannel image right now, so it is still downloading the other images. Once the other images are created, then it will create the pods, and you should see these things become running when the containers get created within these pods. So anyway, while it is doing that, it should take another minute. I will show you, this is the Node-RED that I have. On the right hand side, I have this chat application. So I'll just do a clear so that it becomes clean, and then I will be able to see everything that any messages that my app is going to create, will be able to see it over here. So this is simple chat application over here. Okay, this is what the template is over here. The template is the HTML template which shows this particular page. So that is the part of it, and this is the WebSocket where I'll be sending the messages. And right now it is only this chat application that is connected. So it just was connected as one, but when the Raspberry Pi connects to it, this will increment. The image itself is going to show image preview over here. Okay, when it starts sending images, but we'll come back to this particular page after the microshift is started. So you can see now, that most of the containers are started. It is just waiting for the router and the DNS to start. So that takes another 30 seconds or so. And once that is done, we should be able to create the container. Let me actually show the deployment that I'm going to create. So I'm in the object detection and I'm going to use the Terraform Lite. So I'm going to use the TF Lite, TensorFlow Lite. And if you look at the object detection YAML file, okay, I have this image that I'm going to download. This image itself was created using this Docker file over here. Okay, so I installed the libraries that are required, including gfortran. And then when we install the TF Lite, it needs to compile some of the things using these libraries. And once all of that is done, then we can execute this runme.sh. What this runme.sh does is basically runs this Python detect.py with this model that is available. Okay, so it will be able to recognize the person. Only when there is a person, if I look at the detect.py, and you will see over here that it initially makes sure that we can connect to this URL to upload the image or my picture and the WebSocket for this chat application. Once this connection has been created, what it does is it will, in a loop, keep getting the image. It will print the detections, what all things that it's been detecting. If it finds that there is a person, then it is going to go ahead, take the temperature reading from the sense hat, and then both of those things that are there, the message with the temperature and the detections, it will send to the chat application. And finally, it will go ahead and send the image over using the image upload URL, and it will send the image to Node-RED. Okay, so that is what this application is going to do. If you look at it now, you should see, yeah, everything is running. Okay, all the pods are running. So microshift is basically running. So what we can do is now I can do the apply to the object detection.yaml file. So this was the deployment that I'm going to create. So once I do that, it is going to start this particular pod, and we can have a look at the logs for this object detection pod. Needs to start first before we can look at the logs. Let's give it a minute. Let it finish creating the container. Right now it is downloading the image. You can see, that this for this object detection deployment, this image is not yet downloaded. So what it did is it created a pod in CRI-O. It is downloading the image. Once it finishes downloading the image, then it will create a container within this particular pod. And once it creates a container within this pod, then you will see this turn to running. So right now it is still creating container because the image is not yet downloaded. Let's wait for the image to be downloaded. I had already created the image previously from that particular Docker file, built it over here, and it takes a while to build that particular image because it has to compile everything from scratch with the pip3 install that you saw right now. But once that is completed, then the image has been currently stored in docker.io. Let's give it another minute or so. Should complete downloading the image. So while it is doing that, let me pick up some objects that I can use to display and show some kind of object detection. Use this log. Okay, so it is running now, and you can see this. So if I want to see the logs, I can see the logs. To see logs, and you should see that it is going to start uploading the images. You can see, that it is detecting. It's a dog. It's detecting as a teddy bear. If there is a person, and if I hold a cup over here, it should detect a cup also. Yeah, it is detecting a cup over there. Good. It is detecting everything now, and the object detection works. So basically, it was this demo that I wanted to show with object detection that we have running with TensorFlow Lite, and it works fine on the Raspberry Pi. Every time there is a person, it is going to send the image. If the person is not there, then it will remain blank. For example, if I just hide myself over here, okay, then it will stop sending pictures over here. And no more pictures will be sent because now I have hidden. Okay, but if you want to start seeing pictures again, I just remove that, and as soon as it sees me, it's a person, it will start sending images again. And along with that, it is also sending everything else that it is able to see. In fact, it can also see a potted plant behind me. Isn't that interesting? That's nice. And it is also sending the temperature reading right now. So it is showing 31 degrees. That is because that SenseHat is right above that particular chip on the Raspberry Pi. So it really becomes hot, but you can see the temperature, you can see the person, potted plant, and anything else it recognizes, and you'll keep seeing these values. So this is the kind of demo I wanted to show, where we have no GPU over here. In the case of the Jetson Nano, we have a GPU that can do this. In this case, we don't have a GPU, but I can still do image recognition and send images across, end to end, right from Microshift to the IBM cloud. And we can have these messages also come to the chat application. This is all I wanted to show today. One more thing I'll say is that you have all the documentation to install it on CentOS. There is additional documentation for Fedora 34 also. Fedora 34 is actually preferred, but I could not find what drivers to install to get the SenseHat to work on Fedora 34. The drivers work fine on the Raspbian, on the Raspberry Pi, Raspbian, but that is 32-bit. I wanted to use a 64-bit to prevent recompiling the Microshift. But I have instructions if you want to compile. If somebody wants to try on 32-bit, they're free to try. Right now, I have only installed it on 64-bit. So either on the Fedora 34 or the CentOS 64-bit install, and the instructions are all over here. So this is all I wanted to show. Thank you for watching.